First of all, I know you might be thinking, what the hell do you mean Mathmech combos? Who needs help with Mathmech combos? Now, apparently, a lot of people do, myself included, because this is a combo line that just the majority of people don't play, and I'm sure don't even know about. However, one person who did know about this, if you go back to last Duelist Cup, there was exactly one pure Mathmech deck in the top 100, and that one person was using these very combos. So we'll start off with the the tried and simple Mathmech Circular 1-card combo. Man, I love Circular. So you're gonna send Sigma, obviously. The start is gonna look very similar to every Mathmech combo. I'll admit the start is pretty straightforward. So you get the Sigma out, then you Circular out, and then you search Super Factorial, and then you go Alan Burschen. Hell yeah, I love Mathmech Cybers combos. Oh baby. So yeah, Alan Burschen. Then you're gonna add obviously your limited diameter, because that was the Mathmech hit. And normal summon the diameter. You're gonna bring back whichever Mathmech you want. Doesn't really matter. Here's something that you don't normally do, but you're actually gonna link off your Mathmech diameter that you normal summon into Almirage. This will be very important in the combo step later. So make sure you do this if you're going for this line, and then you can link off the Almirage, and it doesn't matter which other Mathmech monster you link off, and you link it off into Splash Mage, and Splash Mage will revive whatever you want. And then with one of your level 4 bodies, you're gonna make that into a link decoder, and this is just very similar. This is the same with every Mathmech combo. And now you're gonna go into a Transcode Talker with your link decoder and Splash Mage. And then link decoder is gonna revive itself. And then Transcode Talker is gonna revive Splash Mage. Now here's where 99% of Mathmech combos would just make a Heat Soul right here. But this is where the combo line really differentiates itself. So here, we're actually gonna make a Power Code Talker with Splash Mage and another material into Transcode Talker. And then you're gonna link off Power Code Talker and your remaining material into a Firewall Dragon. Because you control Firewall Dragon, you can now special summon Power Code Talker from the grave by removing Link monsters with a combined Link rating of 3. This is why we made Almirage earlier. So you could have Link 1 Almirage in grave plus the Link 2 Splash Mage, so you could revive Power Code Talker from the grave. You're gonna summon Power Code Talker, and you're gonna revive it to a zone that Firewall Dragon points to. Next, you're gonna use Firewall Dragon effect, and you're going to add any one of your Mathmech monsters in grave back to hand. What's nice about this is, if say for example you had the Ash Blossom to stop your opponent's Max E, for example, right? At this point, because Firewall Dragon is co-linked to 2 monsters, you can also add back a Max E that you use to. You can also add back a Ash Blossom you use to negate Max E as well, if you had to do so. So here we'll just add back Circular. No need to add another one. Only add Circular back for the Firewall Dragon. Don't add 2 monsters, because you don't want all of the Mathmech monsters back in your hand. You only want 1 back in your hand. You want the 2 still in your grave for Super Factorial. Next, link off Transcode Talker and Power Code Talker into a Crystal Heart in the other EMZ. This will trigger Firewall Dragon to special summon your Cybers monster from hand that you added back. In this case, it's the Circular that we added back off the Firewall Dragon earlier, and it's going to special summon it. Next, you're going to use Crystal Heart to revive Transcode Talker. And here, you're going to link off Mathmech Circular and Jiggle and Crystal Heart into a VLAN Hydra in the EMZ on top of Transcode Talker. Now, what the hell is VLAN Hydra? Okay, so for all intents and purposes, basically, what this does is it tributes a co-link monster and then it special summons Cyberse tokens equal to the link rating. So here, the VLAN Hydra is pointing to the Transcode Talker, right? That means VLAN Hydra, sack Transcode Talker, and we get to summon 3 tokens. 1, 2, and 3. Next, you're going to use 2 tokens plus the VLAN Hydra, and you're going to link those off into Terahertz. Because Terahertz just requires 3 Cyberse monsters, and the tokens are Cyberse monsters. Now that you have Terahertz, you're going to activate Terahertz effect to send Dot Scraper to the grave, and Dot Scraper is going to special summon itself. And finally, this last token you have, you're going to link it off into a Linger Rebull. Because with now with Firewall Dragon and Dot Scraper plus Linger Rebull, you're going to link those off into a Firewall Dragon Singularity, because Singularity needs effect monsters, unlike Terahertz. And here is your end board. Off of a single circular, you end with Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid plus Singularity plus a live Super Factorial. Now, a lot of Mathmech builds do run Singularity anyways, however, they don't run the VLAN Hydra, so their line to Singularity is not a true 1-card combo. This line is literally just one circular, you get both Firewall Terahertz plus Singularity, and Singularity is 2 bounces because during your opponent's turn. So during your opponent's turn, you're gonna immediately use your Terahertz to send your Save Worm to the grave. Now that the Save Worm is in the grave, Firewall Dragon Singularity gets the bounce cards equal to the different types of monsters you have in grave: Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz. Because now you have a Fusion monster and an Xyz monster in grave with the Alpha version, as long as the Save Worm is in the grave, you get 2 bounces off of, you get to bounce 2 cards of Singularity. Even if you use the Save Worm early, so you still get 1 bounce off Singularity. You obviously still have the Save Worm as a spell trap negate, and you have Super Factorial. And again, this is Mathmech, so that was, you literally got these 3 things, this amount of interruption off of 1 card, so you're gonna have none in your hand too. And the cool thing about Singularity is that notice the zones it's pointing to, right? These 3 up here. If your opponent messes up and summons any monster to any of these zones, you can either wait for him to link it off, or you can immediately just flip Super Factorial, send the monster that you summon to one of these 3 zones here to the grave. That will trigger Singularity's effect because the monster it points to went to the grave, and then you can use that to summon back Firewall Dragon to this zone here between the 2 firewalls, and then Firewall Dragon will be co-linked to 2 monsters, so Firewall Dragon gets you another 2 bounces on top of your board. So you're kind of playing with like a Cash Hero zone lock situation at home here, where if the opponent wants to avoid you from getting a free Firewall Dragon back, you're going to have to avoid summoning to these 3 zones here. And even if they don't, you can always just summon your Laplacian off the Super Factorial onto the zone but underneath Singularity, so that if they ever want to deal with your negate, or they want to run over your Laplacian with a negate on it, then it's cool. You kill that, and then you can just revive back the Firewall Dragon anyways. So let's see if the AI is dump the spell. Okay. Sure. Cool. I don't know why I negated that, because I forgot how D-Spell works. D-Spell only targets spells, it's not a spell card. Alright, so perfect. Our opponent helped us. Thank you, AI. They set a monster into the zone. So now we're going to use Super Factorial. Get these 3 back. Boom. 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 Laplacian. Boom. Send these 2. Goodbye. Goodbye. Trigger Singularity now because the monster it points to was sent to the grave. Revive the Firewall Dragon. The Firewall Dragon is now co-linked, and now you have 2 additional bounces on your board for free. Awesome, right? I heckin' love Circular. So Circular is not the only 1-card combo to get to that board. Firewall Defensor is also a 1-card combo that gets you to that end board. So to begin with, we're going to normal summon Firewall Defensor, link it off into Linger Evo, and once again, the first minute of this combo is just the same old boring Mathmech Cyber stuff. So Defensor's going to trigger, you're going to special summon Guardian from your deck, you're going to link these two off into Splash Mage, and then that's going to trigger Guardian to revive itself back, and then Splash Mage is going to revive Firewall Defensor, and you're going to Xyz these two into Alan Bershin. And then Alan Bershin is going to add you your Circular. Then you're going to use Circular, and here's an important bit. You have to send, don't send Sigma and don't send Diameter. Okay, normally in the normal Mathmech combo line you would send us Diameter to get it in the grave, but here you have to send Subtraction or Addition. Basically the two Mathmech extenders that can just special summon themselves by lowering or increasing a monster's attack by 1000. So send Subtraction in our case, and then you're going to use Alan Bershin, sack itself, special summon back the Subtraction. And then this will trigger Circular to search you a Super Factorial. And here it's the same old, link one of these off into Link Decoder, and then link these two into Transcode, and Link Decoder summons itself back, and Transcode summons back Splash Mage. Then Splash Mage goes into Protect Code Talker. And then Protect Code plus your final body goes into Firewall Dragon. And here you're gonna bring back Protect Code Talker. Because we led with Defensor, we already made a Linger Evo Star play, so we already have an extra Link 1 engraved to banish for the Protect Code. Again, summon it to a Firewall Zone, and you're going to use Firewall Dragon, and you're going to return 2 cards to hand this time. You're going to return Subtraction to hand, and you're going to return any other one of these Cyberus monsters back to your hand. Not Alan Bershin, one of these 3. So we'll add back Circular. Get these 2 back. Then you're going to link Transcode plus Protect Code into G-Goal and Crystal Heart on the other EMZ. This will trigger Firewall Dragon to special summon the Cyrus monster you added back. Then Crystal Heart, special back the Transcode Talker. And here, you're going to special summon the Subtraction. And here's where it's a little different. If you're at this step, do not make VLAN Hydra right here. If you make VLAN Hydra right here, sack Transcode Talker right now, you're not going to have enough effect monsters because you already used your Linger Evo. So you're going to have too many tokens on the board, then you're not going to be able to make Singularity because Singularity needs effect monsters. So instead what you're going to do is, you're going to make the Singularity first using Firewall Dragon plus Transcode Talker plus an extra body, and you're going to summon it to the zone that Crystal Heart points to. Very important. And then you're going to link off Crystal Heart plus your final body into a VLAN Hydra on the other zone. So we're just dancing between 2 EMZs here. And then that's going to trigger Singularity, and you're going to trigger Singularity to special back Transcode Talker. It has to be Transcode Talker because the monster VLAN Hydra sacks, it has to be co-linked. So Transcode Talker is the only one that's co-linked, that's not Firewall, and Firewall gives you too many tokens. So you're going to revive Transcode Talker, and now you can use VLAN Hydra to sack Transcode Talker. And here's where you get 3 tokens. Boom. 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 And here you can just go immediately into Dark Terahertz. Now you do have an extra random token just chilling here that it's just left on your field. Make sure you don't clog your field. Make sure you summon the Terahertz into the EMZ, because you need three zones to summon your Super Factorial to. Your rotation off the Super Factorial. But yeah, this token is just chilling there, you know, admiring the show. And you're gonna use Terahertz. You're gonna send the diameter here. Then you're gonna set your Super Factorial, and on your opponent's turn, immediately you're gonna use Terahertz to send the Save Worm. And here you basically have the same setup as last time, with just the extra token chilling on board. And your Firewall your Singularity isn't pointing to as many zones, but if they want to use this EMZ, then they do so at their own peril, because again, you can easily just trigger it, and trigger it by sending the monster in the EMZ with Super Factorial, and then you just get back the Firewall Dragon free. And what's neat about this is, did you know Defensor has a secret effect? So while this is engraved, if a Firewall monster you control will be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So these are both Firewall monsters, and if you ever get back the Firewall Dragon, that's obviously also a Firewall monster. So, you know, you don't have to fear Dark Hole or Raigeki. If your opponent's on Mikanko and they just Dark Hole you, or Raigeki you, you don't have to negate that with the Save Worm. You can be like, alright, chill. Brandon opening my Firewall Defensor. Nice board wipe there. So we've seen the 1-card Circular and the 1-card Defensor combo. There's one last starter that also gets you that end board. Parallel Exceed. And in fact, the line you do that leads with Parallel Exceed actually ends with a stronger end board than either 1-card Circular or Defensor combo. Now obviously it's the weakest in the hand trap, so if you have other options besides Parallel Exceed, you would want to lead with them first, like we have in this hand. But for example, if all you have with Exceed is Exceed and 4 hand traps, you can still do the combo. So I'm going to normal summon a hand trap, just normal summon the Maxi so I don't get the prompt every time I'm trying to show you this combo. And you're going to link off your hand trap into Almirage. And then you're going to trigger the Exceed, obviously. Again, get the second Exceed from the deck, because this card is semi-limited, because that honestly that does so much that oh man, this deck's just unplayable with 2 Exceeds. Then you're gonna Exceeds these two, Exceed the Exceeds, Exceeds the Exceeds, and say that 5 times fast, into Alan Burchin. Then Alan Burchin will add you your copy of Circular, and Circular, once again, is going to send a subtraction or an addition. Don't send diameter. And then Alan Burchin pops itself, get back the subtraction. It's going to trigger Circular, add your Super Factorial. And then link 2 of these off into Splash Mage. Splash Mage, bring back whatever. Link into Decoder. This same old man. I love going through this step every single time I play this deck. It's the most interesting part of the deck by far. And then you're gonna link these 2 off into Transcode. This will revive Decoder. And then Transcode revives Splash Mage, and Splash Mage into Protect Code. And then Protect Code into Firewall. Then revive Protect Code, banishing Almirage and Splash Mage. Then Firewall Dragon, you're gonna add back, once again, you add back Subtraction and add back any other Cyberse monster, so we'll add back an Exceed to be funny. And then you're gonna link Power, I keep saying Power Code, Protect Code Talker and Transcode Talker into G-Gold and Crystal Heart. Trigger Firewall Dragon, summon your Parallel Exceeds that you added back, then Trigal and Crystal Heart, bring back Transco Talker. Here, don't summon Subtraction yet, you can just do it later. Here you don't have to worry about having not too many tokens because you didn't use Linkuriboh yet, so you can just simply turn a token into Linkuriboh and you'll be fine. So that way you can go into VLAN Hydra just immediately using the Xyz and the Crystal Heart. And then VLAN Hydra is gonna sack the Transco Talker, bring back these, or summon these 3 tokens. And here you can summon Subtraction, lower the attack of a token, and then link off one of these tokens into a Linkuriboh. And here with Firewall Dragon plus Linkuriboh plus Subtraction, you're gonna make a Singularity first again underneath the VLAN Hydra. And then you're gonna link off link off 2 tokens plus the VLAN Hydra into a Terahertz. And now, because you a monster that Singularity pointed to was sent to the grave, you can trigger Singularity immediately and revive Firewall Dragon. And you know, now this is the board, except you just have a Firewall Dragon on the field already. You don't have to worry about your opponents playing into your zones. You literally just have this for free at the start of your turn. And then Terahertz will send your Diameter to grave. It'll pass to your opponent's turn. And then on your opponent's turn, you're going to send the save form immediately. And here you have it. This is actually the best board off of Parallel Exceed. You have the save from the gate. Super Factorial is going to trade with 3 cards, so Super Factorial is like 3 interruptions by itself. You have 2 bounces off Singularity, and you have another bounce off Firewall Dragon. So like around 6 interruptions total, including negates of any kind, multiple bounces, multiple sends to the grave, and off of basically what Hand Trap plus Exceed. So you most likely have more nuns in your hand too. So yeah. Awesome. Sick. I love Cyberse. So here I have a replay that demonstrates a 2-card combo that's probably the most common 2-card combo you'll do, which is Mathmech Circular plus any extender. And literally, extender can mean anything. It could mean, obviously, it can mean subtraction or addition if you run those. It can mean additional copies of Small World or Silent Mining, because those can also search your copies of subtraction and addition. It could literally just mean hard drawing Super Factorial or hard drawing equation, because if you draw Super Factorial, you can just simply search the equation off the circular instead, and there's your extender right there. It also works with Parallel Exceed. But circular plus 1 extender gets you the absolute best end word you could get out of this deck. And you can do this with other combinations, although stuff with like Firewall Defensor, you kind of need 2 extenders to do it with. It's a bit weird, and like you're getting, at that point, it's like you're getting to the realm of 3-card combos through no hand traps, which is not very likely to resolve. However, circular plus extender, you get these hands a lot. So here, you're gonna circular, send Sigma, that same old, add the equations. We already have Super Factorial in hand, so there's our extender, Alan Bershon, and our opponent is gonna Veiler us. Oh man, this Veiler is gonna do so much. Oh no, what will we ever do? Mathmech Diameter is at 1. Oh no. Anyways, activates one of our 3 copies of Small World and literally add Diameter to our hand anyways, man. If only we didn't have 6 copies of Diameter anyways. So here, you know, bring back the Circular and same old, link off into Almirage first, Slash Mage, bring back a Sigma Mail, link off into Decoder, go into Transcode, same old, link Decoder, bring yourself back, Transcode, bring back Splash Mage, link these 2 into Protect Code, link these 2 into Firewall, bring back the Protect Code, banishing Almirage and Splash Mage, Firewall Dragon, add back Circular to hand, link these 2 off into Trigal and Crystal Heart, then Firewall Dragon, summon back the Circular, bring back the Transco Talker, link these 2 off into VLAN Hydra, and then Behind Hydra, sack transcode, get 3 tokens. And here's where it differs slightly from the 1-card circular combo. Since you have this extra extender in hand, first you're gonna link one of the tokens to Linkuriboh, and then you're just gonna use the extender right here to summon back the circular. Then using circular plus Linkuriboh plus Firewall Dragon, you're gonna go into Firewall Dragon Singularity here, and then link those into Terahertz. Regardless which EMZ, doesn't really matter. Then Firewall Dragon comes back. So this is like the Xyz combo, the Parallel Xyz plus Hand Trap combo. Except because we started with circular, you already have the diameter engraved, so you don't need to use Terahertz to send the diameter. You can just send the safe one immediately, which means now, on top of all of this stuff, you have an additional send off Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid for Mirrorlogic Aggregator, which gets you just another negate on top of all of this board. It's like you have more interruptions than your opponent has cards in hand, basically. So let's see how our opponent tries to play this out. And wants it against Ashe, because, oh, guess what? We still have non-engine in this deck. And you're gonna Subversion, target Singularity, we're gonna negate that with the Save Worm. I'm gonna draw a card, unfortunate, because they hard drew the Subversion. They're gonna do 1-for-1, which 1-for-1 gets eaten up by Mirrorlogic Aggregator because it summons on a chain. So Chainlink 1 is gonna be Ashe, but then we can just use Aggregator to negate the Snake Eye Ashe. And they're gonna use Call by the Grave and on the Mirrorlogic Aggregator because they're desperate. But guess what? You can use Firewall Dragon, put the Mirrorlogic Aggregator back into the extra deck. So now if that dodges the Call by the Grave, and if need be, I can use Terahertz on the next turn and reuse the Mirrorlogic Aggregator to negate another card. But there's not going to be a next turn because all of that stuff, we have not used the bounce off Firewall Dragon, we have not used the bounce off Singularity, and we have not used the Super Factorial yet. So, I mean, yeah. So here's what a sample decklist of a Mathmech build doing this combo would look like. The main deck is completely uninteresting. This is literally just a standard Mathmech build. You don't have to change anything in a typical Mathmech main deck to accommodate this combo. All you need is to run a Dotscaper and at least one of Subtraction or Addition. I'm only running one Subtraction. Most people run one Subtraction and one Addition as well. But yeah, there's nothing interesting to talk about in the main deck. This is literally just build your standard cookie cutter Mathmech deck. Obviously run the Fencer and Pixie because those are part of the combos. But other than that, really, don't have to worry about the main deck. The extra deck is where the build differs quite a bit. So the Save Worm, Laplacian, Alimbertian, Almirage, Linkuriboh, Link Decoder, Splash Mage, Crystal Heart, Transcode Talker, and Terahertz. All of these cards are in every Mathmech build that's pretty standard, so that's fine. The extra slots you need to accommodate this combo are 1 copy of Protecto Talker, 1 Firewall Dragon, 1 Singularity, and 1 Beeline Hydra. So that's 4 slots. And as you can see, because of those, it takes up 4 slots. There's some cards that were missing from a typical Mathmech build. First of all, card like Heat Soul. Again, Heat Soul is not part of our end board, so it's not that big that we lost Heat Soul because we weren't gonna make Heat Soul anyways if you resolve any of our combos. This is mostly for like a fallback if you get hand trapped weirdly. But most of the time, where you get hand trapped weirdly, you can make Terahertz anyways instead of the Heat Soul. You just make a Heat Soul normally because you don't have plays and you would just draw 2 cards to try and draw into engine. But making like a Terahertz with a bunch of not engine in hand, it's fine too. There's only like very, very weird circumstances where you can only make Heat Soul and not get into a Terahertz. But again, those like game states are few and far between, and in order to accommodate this combo with a much higher ceiling than the normal Mathmech combo, you have to cut either Heat Soul or one thing that I've cut is Access Code and Update Jammer. First of all, you don't need Update Jammer at all. You don't need Access Code either for OTKs. In order for OTKs, you can do every OTK that you can do with Access Code Talker, you can facilitate by just using some combination of terahertz. I don't just mean like terahertz plus multiplication, right? You don't even have to run multiplication. This is just the cheesy way to OTK. But if you have any 3 bodies, instead of just going Access Code Talker, you can just make a G-Golem Crystal Heart with a terahertz pointing underneath the G-Golem Crystal Heart, so that these are co-linked. And then terahertz will send any Earth Cybers monster to the grave, which will then make Firewall Dragon a 5500. And then because it's co-linked to Crystal Heart, and because it is now an Earth attribute, because you send an Earth monster or an Earth Cybers monster, it gains 600 attack from Crystal Heart, and it can attack twice. So that's like 6100 terahertz times 2, which is 12,200 damage, and that's with that pierces, by the way. So that pretty much OTKs through almost any combination of 2 monsters your opponent will put up. So you don't need the access code for OTK purposes. So likewise, you don't need the update jammer as well. Access Code Talker is nice for clearing boards and like just clearing cards, but I'm of the opinion that if your opponent has anything worth popping to begin with, they're not going to let you get all the way to the Access Code Talker in the first place. Like, they're not going to get you to a Link 4 monster, because they know that Access Code exists, so they're just going to stop you beforehand anyways. So Access Code Talker doesn't really usually pop a lot of important things. Now, there is one tech that you can use to push Access Code Talker through if you wish, and that's Gachiri Ignister. It's a small world bridge, so you don't have to burn small world bridges on Dotscaper, since Dotscaper is needed in the Mathmech Circular combo, 1-card combo. Again, if you have any extender, or if you just have any other small world bridge, then you don't really need anything besides Dotscaper. But it's nice for just making your small world bridges even easier. And Gachiri, you can use this to make an Access Code Talker that's chain blocked, and this makes your Link monster made by this is unaffected. So you go Chainlink 1, add Ignister, and then you go Chainlink 2, Access Code, and then Access Code. Your opponent can't chain to Access Code, obviously, and then once it resolves, your Access Code is unaffected, and that's a way to force through Access Code. So if you want to play Access Code and like play a Gachiri add Ignister just to push through your opponent's back row or their cards, just brute force them, then you can cut an Aggregator instead. Aggregator is the card that I cut Access Code for, because obviously there's that Circular plus Extender combo I showed you that gets you a live Aggregator negate as well, but also in like game states where you get hand trapped and you can't do the full board, but you just end on a terahertz anyways, it's nice that when you only end on terahertz and nothing else, that you still have this Aggregator as a backup. That's just an extra interruption. So that's why I included Aggregator, and I don't run the Gachiri, so Access Code is not as valuable to me. But if you want, you can put in Gachiri and put in Access Code over the Aggregator. So yeah, that's basically what this build looks like if you want to play a Mathmech build that performs this combo, which I'm probably just going to play Mathmech builds doing this combo now, because honestly, I've played so many games of Mathmech now. If I ever go back and actually play this deck for real, the last thing I want to do is just do the exact same combo I've been doing for 3 Duelist Cups now and just make a fucking terahertz with Hitso. Like, no thank you. At least I'll do something that at least either makes the games end quicker just by making a better end board, or make the combos more interesting and like less brain numbing than they already are.